I'm Master Saturn. Thank you for joining me for another BDSM United podcast in our Samhain to Saturnalia series as we go into Scorpio season. Welcome to Scorpio season. Scorpio season takes intensity, at least this first part, as its central image. This first part of Scorpio, the week of intensity, is between October 26th and November 2nd. So we're right there in this first period of Scorpio season. Thank you for joining me today. We are in this series, we are adding some astrology, a bit of magic, a bit of spirituality to our regular discussions. And we're using a book called The Secret Language of Relationships. And it is a astrology book that's been out since like 1997. So it's well established, it's well respected. And we hope that you benefit from a more spiritual, a more holistic approach to BDSM and relationships, because relationships are messy and people are involved and people think and feel differently at different times of the year as the planets move through the heavens, as they move through the universe. And as planets move around, they affect our bodies physiologically and scientifically, as well as spiritually, and they affect our conscious and subconscious. And so we're just going to look at some of that today. These first days of Scorpio illustrate the underlying theme of intensity and the accompanying capacity to formulate, guide, and finally transform unpolished materials creatively and efficiently into highly valuable and viable entities. Though biological drives may be lessened or eliminated by this time of life, sexual or romantic expression is not necessarily diminished in importance. Many even report feelings of greater intensity that are more measured and directed and less diffused or unstable. So this week would be a good time to practice some sex magic. It is a week of intensity, and within sex magic, an intense display or an intense generated orgasm produces a lot of energy that is useful for magical purposes to put intention behind. So this would be a good time to experiment, find a partner, or plug in the magic wand and produce some orgasms with intention related to them, and direct that energy towards something that you're working towards, some goal that you have. People born in this time are Scorpio and are demanding personalities who have few equals in attention to detail and applying their powers of concentration to the task at hand. I was really born right around this time. Within the next couple weeks is my birthday, and I am a Scorpio, and I definitely share a lot of these qualities. Those born in the week of intensity are extremely discriminating, possibly to the point of being judgmental. And I always like to say that while judgment is sometimes perceived as an ethical choice, it's something that we all do, and it's a part of everyday life, and it's really something that we should celebrate. We should celebrate how we make judgments. And so maybe that has to do with this time of year that I was born and the type of person I am. Particularly in matters of fairness and ethics, they're likely to evaluate people more for their motives than for their actions, and sternly pass sentence on those they see as transgressing the bounds of morality. Now, morality is subjective and can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but we all have some kinds of moral code. People born in this time can can be equally strict themselves, however, are highly prone to guilt over wayward thoughts and deeds. Definitely have felt periods of guilt, shame, and regret in my life in the past that I've had to work through and work out of. Uh, and you have to do that shadowy work in your life, come to terms with your own demons, and learn to live authentically, and learn to be accepting of yourself, and to not kink shame your own self. Getting the job done is important to people that were born around this time, these Scorpios, but the way in which it is done has top priority. Even the mildest of those born within this week have more than a touch of the performer to them. Their virtuoso energies are often the outward manifestation of a needy side, a craving for approval and affection from family or friends. Definitely have had that in my past, working and performing, especially within religion, to try to win or try to fill the craving for approval. And it's caused a lot of damage and a lot of polarization in my past. Again, it's shadowy demon kind of stuff that I've had to work through. And have I completely arrived? No, I still like validation sometimes, but I seek it far less. So I am progressing. Those born in this week pride themselves on being aware of what they do and on accepting responsibility for their actions. As a consequence, when another person commits an act against them, they most often assume that it was done knowingly or willfully. So it's definitely something to take a look at and consider, and maybe let some people off the hook a little bit. The refusal to believe that the other person acted innocently or without premeditation can precipitate conflict. Further, Scorpios born during this week usually refuse to accept excuses for, say, lateness or missing an appointment altogether through forgetfulness. They too often view the claim of a memory lapse as a disguise for an intended hurt. So it's definitely some things to think about and look at. The book, The Secret Language of Relationships, this look at astrology, it goes on to say this. Still, the main thrust of judgments, since judgment is discerning and sometimes being stern, can be either a strength or a weakness. Still, the main thrust of judgments is not destructive per se. Quite the contrary. Those born in this week tend to feel that they wouldn't even be bothering with someone unless they cared enough about them to improve their lot. Scorpios believe in the positive value of criticism and doubt that a bad situation will get better by itself. Yet their lovers and friends may grow tired of their often painfully sharp analysis, no matter how perceptive these judgments may eventually prove to be. A blame, guilt, and shame mantra may unfortunately be the only message that either party remembers hearing. But we Scorpios, we value quality over quantity. We're suspicious of those who are overly versatile or who make elaborate claims for the merit of all the different parts of their work equally. And that is sometimes true. I don't give a lot of benefit to people who switch, and it definitely is an influencing factor to my drive to or my message of consistency. Lovers will attest to highs of intimate relations with those born within this week, and friends know the warmth and good feelings that they engender. Of particular note is their sense of humor. They can keep those around them rolling around on the floor. We're often excellent mimics, imitating accents, gestures, and movements equally well. But we're also somewhat terrible teasers. Little Libra can attest to this. One moment we mock serious, and then exploding into divisive laughter. So The advice is to supply the same consistency that you expect from others, but also be less hard on yourself when it comes to mistakes. If at all possible, try to both forgive and forget. Leave your excess baggage behind. The injuries of the past can be too heavy for anyone to bear, even for us who are passing such judgments. And so this is a week of intensity. The Scorpio season is a season of emotions. It's a season of feeling. It's when the element of water is most prevalent in our lives. And with water, it's kind of fluid. It's emotional. It's like tears in your eyes. And those tears can both be relieving, but they can also sting. And so just note that while this is a great time for sex magic, it's because it's a time for intensity. Also, when you start to maybe be a little too discerning, maybe a little too critical right around this time of year, you can let a few people off the hook. You can forgive. You can forget. You don't have to forgive and completely forget everything, especially an abusive person who doesn't deserve your time or your energy. But for yourself, you can forgive, you can let go, you can move on. And so this is a week of intensity. It's when the planets are all aligned and you're feeling an intensity in your life. Just know that if you set goals during this week, that you may not feel the same intensity as moving forward as you feel right now. So it may not be the best time to set some goals. It may not be the best week to work on your contracts. It may be a good week to work on anything where intensity is important. So if you really need focus and intensity, this is the week. This is the week for you. I am Master Saturn. Thank you for joining me for this BDSM United podcast, where we're talking astrology. We're mixing it with relationships and with how the planets affect people during the different times that they were born and the different seasons that we're all in. We're all experiencing this week of intensity, and we all are affected by all of the planets and all of the different signs in the zodiac. They all affect all of us in different ways. People who were born around this time have a lot of this within their character and their nature. Of course, their nurture and their experiences and their life experiences may alter some of those things, may heighten some, and may diminish others. So it's not always this blanket, everything applies. Sometimes it is that some things apply and others don't. You can find all of our naughty, not safe for work stuff at mastersaturn.com, and all of our BDSM teaching and resources you can find by going to bdsmunited.com. It was a joy speaking with you today, and we'll talk with you again soon. Later today, I'm going to have little Libra in the studio with me. Well, we're going to be on location, but we're going to be recording together, and on Halloween will be our first episode together. About 260 episodes in, and we're finally going to begin to do some podcasts. Master Saturn and little Libra together. So look forward to that. Talk to you soon.